Well, as you know, it's a good evening here from the studios of Radio FM 88 Australia. And today's guest is actually from the European continent in a place called Netherlands. And so without further ado, we're going straight to Priti Pauline, who's managed to get hold of Querine. And I'm looking forward to this conversation. Fantastic.
So good morning from here in the Northern Hemisphere and greetings down under. I'm delighted to welcome Querine to us today from the Netherlands in the Holland. And we had a little bit of a conversation about the difference between the names of the countries and how we've got so many different countries and William of Orange. But aside from all of that, welcome, Querine.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's great. And today we're going to talk about, that animals know, and they know a whole lot more than we think that they know. And I want to welcome you, Querine, and tell us, how did you get into this subject, this topic, because it seems to have embraced your whole life. So tell us more about you and what led you to this.
Okay, so I've actually always been able to talk to animals. I've always been very empathic. And I have always thought that everybody had this ability. I didn't realize that this was like my own world. They say perception is the only reality, and my reality, the whole world was able to feel, sense, and talk to animals. And it wasn't until, I noticed that people were treating animals, badly, the way that we treat animals. And I never understood it. As a child, I thought it was so strange, and I really, really didn't understand it until later, when I found out that that it was not something that everybody does. So then it became more normal for me that people treated animals this way, because if everybody could feel and see and sense what I do with animals, I think we would all treat them differently. And I figured, I never really talked about animals in that sense with people, because I noticed, you know how when you're a child, our parents are, oh yeah, there are no ghosts. Ghosts don't exist, or this doesn't exist, that doesn't exist. So a lot of times where our gifts are kind of put into a box and carefully, neatly put away in an attic somewhere, getting dusty. And it was a conversation that I had with a boy when I was about 17, I think, at school. I think we had an argument, and I think that he wasn't winning. I think that was, and then all of a sudden he shot out at me, the only reason you like animals is because they don't talk back. And I was so, I couldn't even react. I just stared at him, just looking at him and thinking, okay, well, first of all, I have no idea how to react to this. And second of all, I'm like, what do you mean animals don't talk back? Animals talk constantly. They're all over the place, and they chat all the time.
Wow.
So yeah, so that was, for me, was a real eye opener, thinking, okay, this really is something that not a lot of people can do or experience. And because of my love for animals, I always did biology, animal sciences, behavioral ecology. And the thing is that when you're on the science side of animals, then, obviously the spiritual kind of talking to them and feeling them, being empathetic, are two completely different worlds, and you can't really mix and match them. Until I figured, what do you mean you can't mix and match them? Who says, And when my confidence became larger and when I figured I can do both, that's when I started combining both, really.
So this is a gift that you've had from birth, and you never thought of it as being abnormal or unusual. It was just a part of an integrated you being you. So
My sister actually asked me only I think about 2 years ago. She's like, "So, how long have you had this?" Like, I've always had it. It's just, yeah.
okay, so do you have any particular animals you prefer the conversations that they give you than to others? What are your most memorable ones?
Oh gosh. Um. Okay, so I'm gonna answer this. I'm not gonna answer your question. To be fair,
Fair enough.
um, but I will kind of circumvent the question. What I do is I actually travel around the world, most literally, to encounter animals. And I do have animals that come to me and they ask me to come and visit them.
Oh,
And so, and I do, I really try and do that. I had a manatee come to me. Well, it was actually a dugong, sorry, a dugong come to me and, oh, please come and visit me, please come. And I was thinking, where am I going to see a dugong? And I was trying to figure out the best place to find a dugong. And then I went to Indonesia for a completely different kind of trip. I did go for Komodo dragons, for example, and I went into the water, and all of a sudden, just out of the blue, we're looking at corals and just snorkeling and having a good time, and then all of a sudden, a dugong with a baby was right there in front of
oh,
me, and I think there were only four of us that saw the dugong. I'm not sure about the number, but it wasn't the whole, not everybody that was with us on that trip. It was, and it was just so magical. And scientifically, I'm not allowed to say that, obviously, but it really was. And so what I do is I go around the world, and of course, spiritually, I can visit any animal anywhere. And of course, there will be a connection, and I'll get the messages. It's just that when you are actually in the presence of the animal and a wild animal chooses to come and see you and show themselves, and you can have a relationship with an animal in the wild and have the conversation and have the whole spiritual connection, it just gives it a whole different dimension.
wow.
Yeah.
So did you get to discover why the dugong wanted you to come and visit?
It was, I got a lot of messages from the dugong, and I found out that trip was a lot about, um, for me, was about slowing down, was one of the big messages I got for myself. But I
Ah,
do, yeah, and I do, and also about motherhood, uh,
ah,
being, like a dugong, and then having such a small little baby was, I mean, what are the chances of just seeing one of those? And it was a bit offshore, so it wasn't somewhere where you would expect a dugong to be. So it was fantastic.
okay, okay. And so when in your travels around the world, I understand you've come across some whale sharks and some others that you've befriended. So tell us a little bit about that story.
Okay, so um, there are two whale sharks. I
Ooh,
met Cuddles. I named Cuddles because I was on a trip in Mexico, I was there as a volunteer with the Marine Megafauna Foundation. And
Oh,
it was 2024, yes, and that's one of the reasons I wrote that book, actually. The purpose of
yeah.
the trip was to make photo IDs of as many whale sharks as possible, so that they can enter them in the database, so that they know which animal is where and how far they swim, and like you have happy whale for humpback whales. They also have a program for whale sharks, and every whale
Ah,
shark has unique spots. So
mm,
it's like when you photograph them, it's like you're photographing like a whale tail. That's how they identify humpback whales. And with whale sharks, they identify the spots on the left side, right above their fin, so that
mhm,
they always
mm,
have the same place of the pattern of the spots. So we were extremely lucky because Mexico is one of the places that's very popular for whale sharks, and there are a lot of boats and a lot of people entering the water where there's whale sharks. And we found a spot, and there was nobody around. There was not even a boat on the horizon. We were just by ourselves, and there were so many whale sharks around us that we were spoiled for choice. So we were just lying there, and there's a really strict protocol. Only two people in the water and a guide. So there are three people from one boat in the water. And even though there was nobody there, we strictly upheld that protocol. So we went in two at a time, came out, two in, two out. And this whale shark came and was really curious. And the thing about whale sharks is, and Jeffrey, a little tip for you when you go swimming with whale sharks is that their um, upper layer is the coarsest sandpaper that you can ever
wow.
imagine. And if you
Mhm.
touch them, it just peels off your skin. That's how coarse it is.
Yeah,
And
okay.
when you actually jump into the water, you don't only look around you, you also look underneath you, because whale sharks, they just swim. They're not scared of anything. They just swim. And because they're filter feeders, they stay a bit at the surface. And so if a whale shark is underneath you, the first thing you do is hope that you can actually get your knees up to about your ears so that you don't get injured from the coarse skin. Anyway,
Wow.
so yeah, so we were there, and Cuddles kept coming really close to us. So we kept
Mhm.
having to move out of the way because, we obviously, out of respect, you don't touch the animals, but whale sharks, you definitely don't want to touch the animals.
Okay.
And so, and it just kept being near us, and we didn't have to swim with it. It was just around us, and we're just having an amazing time with Cuddles. And then the expedition guide said, okay, we have to go. It's time, it's so we all got out of the water. And Cuddles stayed around the boat, and he was in the back where we all had come out of the water. And he was just kind of like nudging the boat a little bit. And when we didn't come back into the water, he actually swam underneath the boat, and from underneath was like kind of bumping the boat, kind of being like,
Ah, ah,
hello.
quite
And
playful
obviously,
then.
as a scientist, I can't say that he would, he was telling us to come back into the water. But as an animal communicator, I can definitely tell you that he was really curious why we weren't coming back in. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it was, and I called him Cuddles because obviously he was just nice and cuddly and especially for a whale shark. I never had that experience before. So
Mhm.
Cuddles. And that's one of the reasons why I actually wrote this book, because of all the messages that I was getting in from,
Ah, wow.
yeah. Yeah, from the whale sharks.
From Cuddles.
Yeah, from Cuddles and from Floppy.
Okay. And
Floppy, sorry.
and what kind of messages were they communicating with you?
Well, they're on the book, and it's actually coming out on August 30th on National Whale Shark Day. So I thought that was the best.
Hold on. August the 30th.
Yeah, the 30th.
August the 30th. We're talking 3 days from now. Is National Whale Shark Day.
It really is, yeah. And I have to say that normally I go around, like I said, I go around the world and I take my own pictures, but I actually collaborated with the Marine Megafauna Foundation, and they were generous enough to provide their absolutely professional pictures with me, their photographs. And so they're the ones that photographed the whale sharks. I mean, I have my own whale shark photographs, but these are for the Marine Megafauna Foundation, and the messages are mine. And I have, because I know many people that work at the Marine Megafauna Foundation, and they're absolutely fabulous people. They are spectacular. Their heart is so in the right place, and because of them and their research, we actually know a lot more about whale sharks, and which we wouldn't if they hadn't researched them. So the net proceeds from this book actually goes straight to the Marine Megafauna Foundation. So it's a great way to actually help and to, bask in the gentle wisdom that whale sharks.
That's extraordinary. Extraordinary adjectives that use the gentle wisdom of whale sharks. Most people would think immediately horrific ideas about whales and sharks. Combining the two of them together is a monstrous idea. But when you say and you speak like this is the gentle wisdom of the whale shark, it's the complete opposite. We've got the wrong idea altogether.
The thing is, humpback whales have the name the gentle giants of the ocean. I have to say, having swam and with both of them, I have to say that actually whale sharks deserve the name the gentle giants. I'm not saying humpbacks don't, but gentle, yeah, they're definitely, I mean, they're as big as bus. I mean, they're huge. And being the biggest fish in the ocean, whale sharks are huge. But they're extraordinary animals. I was amazed, and that's why I actually went back another time, and I went to Tanzania, off the coast of Tanzania, and I swam with whale sharks again because of my experience with the Mexico whale sharks, and we met Floppy. Excuse me. Floppy was actually not a name that I gave. Floppy was actually already named. And I think it was, if I say it correctly, Chris from the Marine Megafauna Foundation actually named him, and he's in a database as Floppy. Poor Floppy. He has scars all over him because whale sharks, they're, as I said, being filter feeders, they stay at the surface. So, and they don't go out of the way for anyone. They're like, I'm a bit of a baddie, so I can handle anything. But unfortunately, the boat propellers is something that they don't win from. So he has scars all over the place. And poor Floppy, the reason why he's called Floppy is because his dorsal fin was not cut all the way, but cut far enough off that it flops over. Because the fishermen, and I don't mean this as a judgment call towards the fishers, but the truth is, fishers, they think when whale sharks get stuck into the nets of the fishermen, it's easier for the fishermen to cut the fin of the whale shark so
Oh
that
God,
it can
yeah.
free itself instead of cutting the net and then repairing the net later. So you'll see a lot of whale sharks with their dorsal fins kind of floppy.
Floppy.
Yeah. So, and this floppy swam slower because of the scars, the injuries that he had. And
Mhm.
which actually for us was nice because it meant that we could basically keep up with Floppy because whale sharks, even though they look really effortless, they swim really fast compared to us. And even when we have fins on, it really is a workout trying to keep up with them. So, and it is just amazing that even though Floppy had these bad experiences, they, whale sharks still tolerate us. And some of them don't. And if they don't, they torpedo off and that's it. They're a shadow and then gone within seconds. It's, that's how fast they are. And Floppy really tolerated us. So we kept up with him and mostly, like I said, it's still a workout, but it was nice to spend time. And I really had a lot of eye contact with Floppy. And I have to say, people were laughing at me because every time I had contact, I waved at Floppy. it was it was a reflex. I was like, "Hi, it's me, remember?" and so and there was this one time where I was the last one actually still keeping up with Floppy. So it was just me and Floppy and nothing else. And it was so amazing. The feeling of just, it was like flying through the water. And we were really bonding. And unfortunately, I had to cut that trip short because all of a sudden there was not just a few jellyfish. It was literally like a curtain, like a wall of jellyfish. Like everywhere I looked, it was just white blotches. And of course, Floppy just went right through it. But I was like, and you have like a nanosecond to decide because once you kind of uh, waver, the whale shark's already gone because you have to really keep up with it. And I was like, no, you know what? I'll circle back, go on the boat, and hope that we get some more time with Floppy. And so that was also a place where I got a lot of messages for my book. And
Okay.
can I just tell you something really, really cool about whale sharks as well?
Yeah, come on.
Okay, so to identify them, what there were scientists and they were trying to figure out how can we identify the individual whale sharks. Just like I said, humpback whales are easy because the tails are all unique. And there were two scientists trying to figure this out, and they're like, no, there's no way, until they actually found a scientist who made an algorithm for mapping the stars in the sky for the Hubble telescope. And yeah, and what the algorithm does, it makes a triangle of stars. Well, that's not a triangle, but you know what I mean. So a triangle. And that angle, no matter from what part of the earth you're looking at, that triangle is always at the same angle. And it's the same for whale sharks because whale sharks, they're not gonna, they're not gonna be like, oh, you need to take an ID picture of me. Oh, let me pose for you. No, that's not how it works. So this was actually an amazing tool, and they let whale shark researchers use this algorithm. And before there was astronomers, people in Madagascar, and excuse me if I pronounce this wrong, but they called whale sharks Marokintana, and which means many stars. So they already knew that whale sharks, yeah, they already called that. And researchers
No.
call a group of whale sharks an aggregation, but they've actually started calling a group of whale sharks a constellation. And you'll find that if you're in the water, constellation is the more used word than aggregation. So
Wow.
I just thought that that was a really cool detail.
It was very romantic as well. It is heaven
Yeah.
on earth in the
It-
waters.
yeah. And that's why, animals are just amazing, and I wish that more people knew more about them. Because when
Mm,
we're in awe of something, we really respect them more, don't we?
mm, mm.
Yeah.
Yes. And moving on a little bit further, you do quite a lot of ecology work.
My husband and I have an ecological research and consultancy company, so it's my daily work, basically. Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about what kind of things you get involved with in that sphere of your life.
So that would make me more the scientist, the field work, the mapping, and the reports. So there's no, you know, like fuzzy spiritual language in that. So it's very down to earth, but it's a privilege to try and work with animals. Well, in our country, and I think it's the EU wide, but our country is really enforcing this, is that any uh, building that's being demolished, is being built, is being renovated, roads that are being made or needs renovating, or like cables that they put into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So any kind of work like that, uh, an ecologist has to actually go and look and see, is there any flora fauna that's gonna um, have any kind of hindrance from the works.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of bat species, for example, actually
Oh,
are house or building dwellers. So there are obviously species that live in trees, but many of them actually live in buildings. So any
okay.
building that is renovated or is demolished or gets built,
Mhm.
we have to go and check to see what flora and fauna are um, there.
Right.
And
And
so we do uh, research. So if we do find that there is a species that lives there, then all these protocols go into place, and research can take months. So a lot of people get really annoyed by it, but we do share the earth with animals, and the earth is not just there for us. And
okay. Now
so
I'm going to ask you, I want to ask you a fairly naive question that when you're there doing your ecological research and studies as to a building that's about to be demolished and you come across a particular kind of bat species, are you able to use your animal communication skills to let them know that their habitat is about to be demolished, or what their thoughts are about this? Do you ever kind of mix and match, but not really officially?
I do, absolutely. I have to say, I do that with bats as well. And there
Mm,
was one bat that the house was being demolished, and
mm,
I warned the bats, if there's any bat in there, you really need to come out. And actually, there was one bat that came out. There was only one bat living there still. Against all odds, it wasn't. We had well, it doesn't matter. But against all odds, it was still there, and it actually came out during the day, and we took it, and we took it into our garden, which I'm not supposed to say live because we're not allowed to do that. But So we put it in our garden until the evening so that it could recuperate. And then when the sun was going down, it could go out and fly on its own and find its own way. But I've done that with beaver. We have, and with badgers, I do that as well. That I really warn them. I mean, all species, obviously, but I know that with a beaver, there was this mother with her babies, and I was like, well, we have special permits to take you to Belgium, and you'll be in a national park where you'll have all the space, and you'll be in like an extremely perfect habitat for beaver. And we were able to catch all of them except the female. And she stayed. She's like, this is where I live. I'm not going anywhere. So even though I have to say, even though you can talk to animals, it doesn't mean that you can actually manipulate animals.
Yes.
They have a mind of their own. And if they don't want to do something, because I think a lot of people think, oh, because you're an animal communicator, they do what you say. No. Animals have a mind of their own. And they exercise, their free will. And I completely respect that. And I always ask before, doing something. I always do give them the space to exercise their own free will.
And what happens in her case if she's stubbornly staying where she wants to say, this is my home, you're not going to mess with this? And what happens in the end?
In the end, there were permits to shoot her. So that's why I was really desperate. I'm like, please listen to me. And we got the other ones out, and they have a fantastic home in a protected nature area. Except she's so smart. I love her. She's amazing. And it's not that far from me. It's close by. So I go and talk to her a lot. And she's outsmart basically everybody. They try to catch her and they can't. And so what they've now done is they've actually taken out all the water around that area. And what they're doing is they're making it beaver proof so that she can actually just live there in peace, and there's no fight or struggle anymore. So the people, the city has actually decided, okay, you know what, truce. We'll make it habitable for you, but just stay here. And the problem with the beavers was that because they're digging, the roads were kind of caving in, and the houses were becoming unstable because she was digging underneath. So it was a hazard for cars, bikes, people.
So literally the roads could just flop in front of their very eyes because of there was no foundation. She was digging away through that.
It happened twice.
Don't mess with me. I'm a beautiful beaver.
And I have to say that I'm rooting for her all the way, like 100%. Because the thing is that the ecologist, like 15 years ago, before they actually built that whole area, should have known that the beaver was already there. It's her habitat. She lived there before they started building. And they didn't take her into consideration. So she's like, well, you're gonna have to deal with me, and I'm not saying that this is the same beaver from 15 years ago. I'm just saying genetically they can actually pass that on from generation to generation. So animals are amazing.
Well, that's a beautiful, beautiful story. I mean, they need to mark the area off and call it Beaver Avenue or something, or
Absolutely.
beaver sanctuary. I don't know what they'd call it, but this is the beaver's home. Forget it.
Yeah, I've been out beavered. I think we should make that into a verb. I've been out beavered.
Well, the Americans will be planning it as a new tourist spot, wouldn't they? Looking for beaver.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see a beaver, that's definitely a place to go, because a lot of people, and it's really nice to see, because the people that live in that area, most of them like love the beaver. So they're always walking out, around with their dog, and they're always like, "Oh, look, the beaver," and they're really happy with her. So
Oh, that's a great story. It's a great story. I love it. So let's move on a little bit further and expand your work and your life with animals and your communication. So let's go back to that. And what kind of conversations do you find the most inspiring from any particular species, or are they all much the same? Or some, are they dull as dishwater and others are very hyped up? Tell us about the different characteristics that you have found within the different species of animals.
everyone has their own personality, just like humans.
Okay.
They definitely have their own personality, but there is a similarity between the different animal species. I have to say that I love sheep, for example, because sheep are kind of like beaver, whereas they're like, I'm not gonna take anything from you. Like, if you want to go into a field, you have to be really nice and ask very politely for permission. For example, like in England, I've done that, where I've gone where you have like a walk, and you go through the fields, and the sheep are there, and they will run after you. So if you don't want to do that, you open, before you open the gate, you have to ask really politely for permission. If you could please just kind of move over there. I'm just going over there, opening the gate, and I'll be gone. And they're very, very straightforward. Communicating with sheep, they are straight shooters. They do not beat around the bush. They don't, there's like no politeness in the way that they communicate, but they're very honest. And if you ask something that they feel is a dumb question, they will let you know. But communicating with animals anyway is just so much fun, because you have no idea what you're going to get. I know I communicated with a dog. I was asked by somebody to communicate with their dog.
Yeah.
And when I came in, the dog was like, "Hi," and I'm like, "Hi," and like really timid and shy, and kind of like looking at me, and I was like, I'm I'm here to talk to you." And really, me? You're talking to me? Like, was so surprised. Well, I had a horse, for example, that, like 2 days before I was scheduled to talk to him, was already coming and being like, "Oh, when are we gonna have that? I want to talk," kind of thing. And you kind of are like, "Okay, but you're gonna have to wait your turn. You have to be patient." And no, but I want to. So, and I'm not saying that all horses or all dogs are like this, but it's just funny how different animals react differently from when. And I have a lot of wild animals that actually come into my field, because they're either need of conversation, but mostly because they need healing. And I already told the animal world that if anyone needs healing, that I'm open for that. And that's one of the things that I love to do when I'm on holiday traveling around. I do let animals know that which area I will be in, and if they would like to meet me, that that would be amazing. But if they need healing, to let me know. So some animals actually come into my field when I'm near, but mostly they actually show up. They'll reveal themselves. And was actually starting up when I was, getting more comfortable with my gifts and my being able to do this and to share openly with the animals. And I was on a game drive with another couple, and we had several game drives together. And it was just so funny that they all of a sudden said, "Oh, there's so many injured animals. I don't think I've ever seen that before." And it made me smile, not obviously not because of the injured animals. And I helped each and every one of them, but just because other people were noticing that too. And I was like, okay, so this is not just me, having this thing in my head. It's something that is actually, visible for other people in the world who have no idea what I'm doing. So, yeah.
Okay. And I want to turn attention to another book of yours about What Would Panda Say? And are pandas very communicative? Are they very chatty?
Yes.
What do they have to say? Because they are the emblem of the World Wildlife Fund. So I'm wondering whether or not they know that they have that prestigious kind of publicity or public view in the rest of the world. Do pandas have? What would they have to say?
I went to China, especially to see and meet pandas.
Okay.
And that's where this book came from. This book is actually my photography and my encounters with the panda while I was in China. And I was just amazed about the messages. And it was funny because it wasn't really what I was expecting from panda, because the joy that they radiate. And I'm not saying, obviously, like the scientist part of me wants to warn everybody, pandas are not cuddly animals, do not, it's not like we're going to see one on the road and have the chance to go up and cuddle with them. But I'm just saying, pandas are not that. Pandas are dangerous animals. They're not the type of animals that you want to go up to and want to cuddle, even though they do look very cuddly. And talking with them just makes you want to cuddle them even more. But they are just
And they don't want it.
no, they do not. And
Wow.
I mean, they're solitary animals for the most part, so they don't even like other pandas in their vicinity, basically, and they can be really, really aggressive towards each other. Having
Wow.
said that, so please forget I just said that. And the joy that these pandas and the carelessness, like they don't care what they look like. They don't care if they look clumsy, or these are all words that we we kind of have like a negative connotation to. They don't worry about stuff like that. They just do because they're doing, because they're being, they're enjoying, they're living. And that is something that I took back from Panda, that, just joy and, embrace life, be life, and don't worry about what other people think. Who cares? So you fall off a chair, well, and then you keep on tumbling because that's what's fun. So it's, and don't try to clamber on the chair and think, oh, I hope nobody saw me. Well, of course people saw you. Just keep tumbling. And so they actually had to almost literally pull me away from these pandas. Because I was like, no, I want to stay. I want to stay because it's so much fun. And I was like,
So
cuteness overload. Yeah.
yeah. So being silly with the panda is great fun.
Oh, I had so much fun. I had the time of my life. It was like a party, a panda party. And I hope it just, I really hope that the messages on the pages, I've actually had really, really good feedback on my panda book because that one's already out. And one of my clients, she actually has it on her nightstand, and she's like, the first thing I do in the morning, she used it as basically her oracle deck, and
Yeah.
she just opens it to see, okay, what does Panda have to say for me today? And she does that at
Oh,
night before she goes to bed. And I think that's amazing, and I'm so happy that she is embracing this book exactly the way it's supposed to be. It's not, I mean, obviously you can sit with it and just read it from front to back. I mean, there are not that many words in that book. It's just that if you use it more as like an oracle, I think it'll give you more um, run for your money to say, because you use it more often.
yeah. And the more often, presumably, then the more often you use it, the more you connect with the animal
Yeah,
themselves, even if it's through the book. So,
yeah,
like you say, pandas aren't walking down Clapham High Street or round Clapham Junction or anything. They're not urban animals. They're not, they're not even part of this neck of the woods. Certainly
yeah.
not in Europe. I don't think there's any pandas in Europe, are there? Except in zoos.
In zoos. No, they're only China has pandas in the wild,
Only China.
and they
Okay.
fiercely protect them. Yes.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay. Are there any other animal species that you've had some glorious encounters with? I wanted to ask you about lions, to be honest. Uh, Many years ago, I was on safari in Kenya, and well, aside from not seeing most of the animals that were purported to be able to be seen during this safari, we came across a lion so it was a male lion, big mane and everything, and the the truck we were in, the van we were in, I must have been like 6 or 8 feet away from it, and it was so majestic and standing so still and quiet and just being a lion. I so wanted to reach out and touch it and stroke it. And then my hand said, no, 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 no. There was this huge wall. Don't touch leave the animals alone. I'm wondering, have you encountered and had conversations with lions?
Oh
Um,
yeah, yeah. I've
and
had many
and
encounters.
how wise was my choice?
I think that I can safely say that for anyone, ever, do not touch wildlife. Ever.
Okay.
Just
All right.
because of the respect of the animal, but also because of, the dangers involved. I mean, wild animals are wild. And that's the good part about being
Mhm.
able to talk to them is that, I can stay a safe distance from them.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, they definitely do look very cuddly.
Yes,
Absolutely. But can I
cuddly,
just,
serene, approachable. These would be adjectives that I would have used in this particular case. That this 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 lion was just so welcoming
yeah,
without saying or doing anything other than just being a lion.
yeah. I have to say, I have had an experience with an elephant, which wasn't, well, I actually had one with an elephant where he came
Mhm.
into the camp, and um, he was sniffing at me, and in a reflex without thinking, and do not do this at home, kind of flag warning underneath here.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Mhm.
reached out. I didn't touch the elephant, but I reached out so that he could smell me like you would with a dog. And
Mhm.
he actually he actually came and he put his trunk like in my hand, and it was amazing. And after that, I got all these warnings why I should never have done that, because he could have also just as easily put his trunk around my arm and just, yanked me or whatever. But I felt at that moment that that was not the case. So, and he actually put his trunk in my hand. So that was a very endearing moment. Like I said,
Mhm.
like, how they have like surgeon warning, do not do this at home. People, this is not doing.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there was another time in India, we were at an elephant festival with a lot of fireworks and a lot of people, a lot of noise,
Ah.
and I was actually standing in between two elephants, and I don't even remember how I got there. And there was the one elephant to my left actually took a step closer to me, and obviously wasn't leaning on me because I would have just, fallen over. But it was touching me and leaning on me, and I could see that it was crying, and it was so scared. It was so scared. It
Oh.
didn't like all the noise. It didn't like, and so I was there, and I was like, I'll just, cuddle with me. I'm here. I'll protect you. You're safe. Trying to calm this elephant down. And then the mahout, um, the one, riding the elephant, came and was
Yeah.
like, "Well, you have to go away. This elephant is dangerous." And I'm like, This elephant isn't dangerous.
Oh.
I can tell you for sure this elephant isn't No, no, you have to leave. You have to leave." And so I told the elephant, I'm like, "I'm sorry, I have to go." But I stepped back and I stayed close to the elephant so that he could still feel me and know that I was there, because I promised to protect him. So, but yeah, so there are some times where I do interact with uh, animals.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mm.
but can I just do a little fun thing with you with your elephant,
Okay.
or sorry, your lion encounter?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay.
So, when you saw the lion, do you
Yeah.
remember what you felt at that moment? What was it that, like, not from your head, but from your heart or from your stomach?
I can remember very distinctly. There was just this peacefulness that came over me completely, just being at ease. And of course, there was the curiosity inside of me as well. But I can, now that I'm talking to you about it, I'm going back 30, 40 years ago when it actually happened. And I'm there in that place, that space, as if the lion is just, it was in the opposite direction to me, looking out in a different way, in a different direction, and just peaceful, just super peaceful is what I felt.
Were you in a time of your life that change was coming, or that there was something that was a bit turmoil in your life, or was there something going on?
I was pregnant.
I mean, you don't have to say. I mean, obviously, I
Oh,
understand that it's radio,
yeah,
and
yeah,
we don't need
yeah,
to
yeah.
get,
No, I was
nitty-gritty
pregnant.
personal.
Yeah, I was pregnant with our second child, and so yes, of course, and the safari had been planned a long time ahead,
Before you knew
and
it.
before I knew I was pregnant. Yes, so there was a time when there was a decisions to be made about going forward and that, but there was no way in the world I was going to stop not going on safari, this mega holiday of a lifetime with the eldest son. So yeah, there was a little bit of turmoil going on with that, but yeah,
So
well done.
that was actually the message that Lion had for you, was that there is peace on the horizon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it did come to pass.
Yeah.
Magical. That's super
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I want
So
to ask.
I felt that the lion really wanted you to know that, even though it's 30, 40 years ago, um, because it was a really important message that he was giving you. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. And strangely enough, as the years have gone by, one of the major benchmarks in my life throughout definitely the last 40 odd years or more has been, and certainly the last 30 years, much more prominently, is how is my inner world? How peaceful is my inner world? And that's the criteria by which I kind of judge everything. And when I'm at ease with myself and things are peaceful, and it's peaceful on the inside, not necessarily on the outside, that's when I know I'm more me being me, and I'm more at ease with life, with the rest of the world. And that, and how nice it is for you to tell me that that lion gave me that message that I didn't fully realize at that time, but it's been with me throughout, always. That's quite astonishing.
And I
Wow.
felt that. I really felt that there was more to that encounter than, um, at first you might think. And
Mm,
it's also a real gift, and this is what I love about animals, the gift that the lion gave you, and even you didn't realize at the moment, was that you can always go back to that moment. Like you said, you're instantly there. And
mhm,
animals tend to do that with these kind of encounters. You go back and you're right there. You remember the smell, you remember how you were feeling, how hot it was, how like you're just really there in the moment. And the gift is that you can go back, and when you need peace, you can go back to that moment and feel the peace, and that it's somewhere in your body, and you can let it radiate out so that you can embrace it at a moment that you really need it.
wow.
Yeah.
I is in my belly. It's every,
Exactly. And when you're in that moment in your belly, and you're able to go back to that memory and feel how complete the peacefulness was that you were feeling, you
mm,
can feel that again, no matter what situation you're in.
oh, wow. And I'm there now. I'm welling up. I'm a bit emotional when you're telling me about that, but it's absolutely true. And yeah, it's so, so true. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what the magic of animals. Um, I know a lot of people look up to galactics, angels, dragons, unicorns, and I do too. I absolutely, there's 100%. But what I find is animals can give you that relationship, that extra dimension that I actually started the conversation with, um, and it just stays with you, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm back. My eldest son is 43 now, and the youngest is 31. So I'm back 32 years ago in exactly the same place,
Yeah.
and vividly experiencing what it was like and I just wanted to hold my hand out, and I went, oh, you better not.
Yeah.
uh,
That was your
yeah,
instincts kicking in.
yeah. It is a lion after all.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, no mucking
Oh,
about with
okay.
lions.
Yeah. I want to move on a little bit and explore the messaging that you talk about. Like, for instance, what would you consider uh, the difference is between wishful thinking and real messages? Because now I can say to you, having you explained things to me, it must have been a very deep it was a deep and meaningful message that has stayed with me without me actually realizing it.
Yeah.
And that's a real message. That was a real message. I'll give you that one. Now, what about the idea of wishful thinking?
Okay, so let me see how I can phrase this.
Okay.
When you think you've had an animal message, think back. Did you wish for it before or after you saw it? Because if you think, oh, I see, like, okay, how am I going to explain this? If it's wishful, if an animal comes to you, say a butterfly, let's make this butterfly.
Okay.
A lot of people think, okay, so if I see a butterfly, it's my deceased grandmother saying hello. Okay, so is that wishful thinking, or is it really your grandma coming to say hello? Because that's a real thing. That's a distinction. First of all, I have to say, if you think that it's your grandmother or whoever, it doesn't have to be your grandmother.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying as an example. If you think it's your grandmother and it makes you happy, I mean, go with it. Like, who's to say that it's not? So,
Yep.
but if you really want some tips on if it's real or wishful thinking, does the encounter actually tell you something? Something maybe that you'd rather not hear or rather not experience? Because if it tells you something that you'd rather not hear, it might be wishful thinking. Animals don't usually come and give you bad news just by passing by. It could give you warnings, but not literally. Like, it could warn you for something, but doesn't normally. I haven't encountered yet that an animal has come to me and say, okay, you're gonna die, basically. You know what I'm saying? It just comes by, and then you're like, okay, it was a stoke. A stoke comes to warn you about certain things.
Yeah.
And also, how does your body react to when you're seeing an animal? If um does it settle and drop, or does it buzz, and do you get like a really more hyper reaction?
Yeah.
And another telltale sign is it still there tomorrow? If you think about the encounter, if it's there tomorrow and you can feel it, then the chances of it being real are basically 100%.
Okay.
But like I said, I mean, if you see a butterfly, does it, if you want it to be your grandmother and it gives you a happy day, then who's to say that it wasn't? And what I also would like to add, if you do see an animal giving a message to you, please always be grateful. And it doesn't matter what kind of animal it is, because it's just our dogmas that give certain labels or certain weight to animals. Like, if it's a wolf or a bear, it's magical and it's sacred and spiritual. But if it's a mosquito, for example, then people don't see it as an animal that can actually give you a message, and definitely not a message that says something significant. But there's no difference between which animal comes. It's our labels. Messages from animals are real, always, no matter what animal and no matter what you feel. And if there's an animal that comes and you're scared of it, then there's even more reason to look into that. I know a person who got my hidden messages book, and she was so scared of spiders, and she did a course with me. And in the beginning, I was like, okay, I'll let it go. And then later during the course, I was like, so are you ready maybe to look into spider? And then she's like, oh, I don't know. And then the next time that I saw her, she actually had opened the book to the spider message, and she was like, wow, that was amazing. That was definitely something I needed to hear. So sometimes we're just not ready, or we don't think we're ready for messages, but animals have a very good sense of timing. So
Yeah. Yes.
yeah. And I have my hidden messages book. It says hidden messages for everyday animals. And obviously the book going out into the world, it's extremely difficult to find animals that you find literally everywhere in the world, and that we can actually encounter every day. So I got this kind of annoyed email from somebody who bought the book and said, where am I going to see a turtle or a fox? Like, where would I even encounter that? And then it goes on to say that the next day, the day after she got the book, she went into a thrift store because she needed to buy whatever, I don't know. And she actually found figurines of turtle and fox. And she was like, okay, this is, this is too weird to be true. And she actually bought the figurines because she's like, okay. And then she went to look what the messages were. And she's like, wow, animals are magical. They really are. And I was like, okay, so exactly, people, this is how it works.
So you can put the essence, the essence of turtle and foxes came through the figurines.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny. She's like, yeah, I bought them. Yeah, and I'm not saying people, buy my books and go out to thrift stores and buy everything you see, but that's not the message.
Okay, can I share with you a little from the teachings from the System of Natural Life? And that is that the mosquitoes are life's way of giving you a free acupuncture treatment. So because
I love that. I love that.
Because the mosquitoes, they see in infrared. And when they see hot spots on your body, they go straight for it. Like, they give you a little acupuncture treatment to release the excess energy that's in that particular meridian. What do you say to that?
I say that I definitely need a lot of acupuncture treatments because mosquitoes love me. They really do. But it's funny because I actually do have mosquito in my hidden messages book.
Oh,
I do, and I also have fly because I find, that's one of the animals that you really do find all over the world. I mean, not literally all over the world. I mean, in the Arctic you wouldn't find them, but I mean, so yeah, I do have information on them and their messages. So
okay. Can you
but
read
I
that
did
to
not
me,
know
dear?
that about
I
the
can't quite see
acupuncture.
it.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry?
You like that idea, do you?
I do. I love that. And next time I have a mosquito bite, I do always say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, even though
Jeff, can you scroll back up? I want to see what the mosquito, I can't quite read it on my screen. It's not, let's see if I can. What does it say?
Primordial sound, higher humming, connection with the higher through sound, and sound as a path to the source.
Okay. And underneath?
Same words.
So these are actually Daniel Maple's animal essences that he makes. I've met Daniel Maple. I've actually made an essence with him together, which was really, really cool. And these actually help with they're basically the Bach remedies, like the flower remedies that they have. These are animal essences instead of flower essences. And I find that they work really, really well. I love working with these. And I do, if I have a course, I usually also offer these to help with emotional support, that everything, because obviously working on emotional problems, or, like I have a whole healing path, which is, it's, it gets very real and having emotional support really helps. So that's what these are. Yeah. I do have to say that I do have a different message in my book for mosquito, but I do understand. I think that what Daniel's message is the one after mine, because obviously different animals have different messages, but they also have. I think it also depends on what level you are at that moment, and I'm not talking hierarchical. Excuse me. Hierarchical, but it's just that what phase you're in, what the message can mean to you. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, animals are amazing. They know if like what level you're in. So it doesn't matter if you're just ready to dip your feet in the water, basically in the spiritual pool, as to speak, or if you're like completely immersed. Animals will resonate no matter where you are on your spiritual path.
Hey, I go for a walk every morning, and I come out of the front stairs, and as I was coming out to start my walk, I had two bush turkeys. It was the first time I've actually had two. Normally it's just the one. I had two bush turkeys, and right out in front. And as I came out, I said, "Good morning." And then I started walking down the road. They started following me down the road.
Oh, that's so cute.
I'm just reading that. Gratitude, abundance, fullness, and richness. Appreciating life as a higher blessing. Yeah.
Yeah, and there were two of them. So I mean, imagine the blessings you're going to get.
Yeah.
But it could also mean companionship. Two turkeys together.
Yeah, well, we get there's two pairs of ducks in the neighbourhood now. Two pairs. There's two pairs of curlews. I don't know if you know those birds. They're really quite a tall, elongated bird. And when they scream like cats, possessed, But yeah, they've come into the neighbourhood as well. I mean, we have a lot of natural bush here. So we've got the Daisy Hill State Forest, which is 20,000 acres. It's 40 kilometres of trails and tracks through there. You can take your horses through there and mountain bikes. And on the other side is 240 acres of natural conservation land with paths in it too. So there's a number of us, I'm just saying mature people, and we walk without any headphones or AirPods, but all the young ones, they're completely oblivious to the sounds of nature, particularly around December when you get the cicadas. They come across, you can hear them just whiz right across the whole landscape. It's quite a cacophony of these cicadas. It's really I just find it really relaxing and quite at peace to be walking amongst nature. And the kookaburras going off. Yesterday I disturbed the bloody swamp wallaby. And it just bounced off, and I said, "Hey, stop there, mate. I just want to talk to you." Yeah, looks at you. Off you go.
Yeah. So I have this like 10-second game that I like to do when I go on walks, and maybe because you've mentioned these different birds that all of a sudden are coming into your neighborhood. So the next animal you see today, and there are always animals around, is stop for just a second and don't look at anything. Just notice what you feel at that moment. Well, try and connect with the bird. If you don't know how to connect, just I mean, and you can even keep on walking. You don't have to stop your walk. It's just that try in that moment and feel what you feel when you saw this animal. So for you, it would be, the 2 turkeys that you saw this morning. Like at the moment that you saw it, try and go back and see what it feels like. What is it that's happening in your body? Because that could be a really important message too. And then just say thank you. And it's just a really fun way of trying to attune to what's going on around you. And the more that you do this, the more of a second nature it's going to become. So, and at first it's more of like a game, and then after a while you'll notice that you're doing it without consciously having to tell yourself to do it.
Got it.
So I hope that that'll make your walks a little bit more fun, more interactive walks. I went to Australia, like I told you before. I went to Australia and I loved going on walks and just trying to feel where the animals were while you're walking, and then looking to see, before it moves or something. I have to say that I've experienced something. I've just been to Africa a few weeks ago, and I was walking in a rainforest, very dense forest, very difficult to see. And we were walking around, and all of a sudden I felt 3 heartbeats. And I was like, okay, this is weird. I had no idea what to do with this information because, like I said, I'd never felt or experienced this before. And 3 heartbeats. So I was like, okay, don't panic. Just go into yourself, feel what it is. And I felt 3 like bigger heartbeats and a small heartbeat, basically. And then maybe like about 5 minutes later, we saw 3 forest buffalo, a male, a female, and a baby. And I was like, wow, I felt their heartbeat before I even knew that they were there. So you can really train yourself to start learning what's around you, instead of having your phone and by the way, dogs do not like going on walks while you're on the phone. Dogs want that connection. They get really annoyed. If I know I had a dog, and if I took my phone with me, she'd turn around and walk back. She wouldn't go. Because they want your full attention. It's not just them doing their business. It's them, having their time, and having, quality time, basically.
Got it.
Wow.
Just a little. Sorry, that was something that just popped in that they were like, don't.
It just had to be said.
Yeah, it really did. So I can.
Okay.
About 12 years ago, it was in Arizona, and it was Return of the Ancestors, and they had all the medicine men and medicine women from North, Central, and South America, just out of Sedona, Cottonwood, and they're preparing 2 sweat lodges, one for males, one for females. So I left the group because it just got on because they had to speak in English and Spanish and Portuguese. So really escalated. So I walked off and went over to see the stone man, who's preparing the fires, and he's going to, the rock man, put the hot rocks into the, what's the name? So I was having a chinwag with him. Anyway, next second, this Cherokee woman comes over. Her name's Grandmother Dawn Skyweaver, and the 3 of us in a triangle shape. And I just asked this guy, what was this insignia thing that he got pinned on his little beret? And he said, it's a Medal of Honor. I said, oh, what happened there? And he said, I was in Iraq, and he said, I saved my platoon from an Iraqi soldier, but the Iraqi soldier put the sword with what do you call those things, on the end of it, and gutted him. but he was able to shoot the Iraqi guy. Anyway, so they patched them up and they sent him back stateside. Anyway, so when he came out, he was convalescing. His grandfather had a sweat, and they got all his military clothing and they burnt it all, and then they did the sweat. And the next second, the Iraqi soldier came out of the young fella, Indian guy, and wanted to know where he was because it was dark and it was fire. I thought he wasn't there with the virgins, you know. And so he raced out of the sweat lodge, and his grandfather managed to trip him up, and he fell on the ground, and he just threw a bucket of water over him, and then the spirit of the Iraqi soldier disappeared. And I said, well, that's pretty profound. The next second, grandmother said, it's not a subject you shouldn't be talking about. No, he's come all the way from Australia. Well, I'm pretty open and talk about it. The next second, the big group stopped, and they were looking at us because above us was 3 eagles in a spiral just around us in the energy field. So they asked us what we were talking about. So anyway, I said, well, did you actually find who your animal totem is? Yeah. He said, when I was 13, we had this, what do you call it? The journey of the young boy on his manhood trip, and had to do his vision.
Walkabouts?
No, that's the Aborigines. This is Red Indian. So he had to go and do a sweat and do a vision quest. And he said he left his body and he came across the plains, and there was all these buffalo. But in the front of the buffalo was a big white buffalo. And he came in and became one with the white buffalo. So he told his grandfather and his father about it. I said, well, what's the white buffalo mean? He said, it's a provider for the tribe, but also the strongest medicine. I said, just amazing to stop and have a chat about someone's culture and how they come about. And he said, well, if you're a Christian, I mean, you could say that the guy called Jesus, he's got either the rooster, well, the mother hen, I beg your pardon, or he's the lamb. He's got 2 different animal totems. I said, oh, yeah, okay, fair play. So there's another culture looking at another culture.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how different cultures actually see animals. Actually, I've written a little bit because in my Hidden Messages book about how different cultures see that particular animal. That's actually also my photographs, by the way. And the dog is actually my dog. So just so you know, just a little personal detail there.
Yeah,
but yeah, so I do have like folklore in that book because I find that it's so interesting how different cultures view different animals. Yeah. But thank you for sharing that. That's an amazing story. And white buffalo is very sacred.
Do you ever get to read them books, The Clan of the Cave Bear?
No, I have to look into that.
There was a major earthquake, and this young girl was able to survive. She was the only one that survived her tribe. And when she left the area, and she realized that there was a lion tracking her, and she ends up getting into a cliff of a rock face to protect herself from this lion. But the lion goes and paws her, and so she's got this big, huge lion claw mark on her thigh. Anyway, by the time there was a whole lot of noise, and it was another tribe that came and they looking after chasing down that lion. The lion got away, but she was able to step out, and she managed to cover herself. And anyway, she went back. They took her in in the tribe, and she was very good as an athlete, hunter, and everything else that went with it. Anyway, the medicine. Then the chief was about to pass on, and they had to go and get a new tribal leader. And there was one fellow there who thought he would be the new tribal leader, and his totem was the rhinoceros.
Oh.
Anyway, so he stepped up and said, "You're like the bull in the china shop." And then the medicine man said, "Nope, it's the girl." And he said, "No, she's from another tribe. No, she's part of our tribe, and she's already been marked by her animal." And and of course he goes into the bloody teepee and pulls out of his bag. He's got this bloody paw mark of a lion, and he goes there and he gets the girl to lift up the skirt that nobody really had seen before, and there's a handprint of the
Oh, wow.
lion. Puts the paw in there, and he said, there she is. She's marked by the lion. And so it was really interesting.
Wow.
Really quite deep spiritual books.
Wow.
Mm.
Oh, I definitely need to read that now. Thank you.
I'll give you the pressing of the story now. You don't need to go and read it now. Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. If we're talking about spiritual books, something that if you haven't read these books, the Horses Know trilogy from Lin Man. And Lin Man is actually somebody that I came to know after I've read her books. And they are phenomenal. They really are amazing. I actually have, she actually read my my books, and she's actually on the back cover of my book,
Mhm.
saying what she thought of the book. So yeah, we've become really close since then. But that's not why I'm recommending the books. The books are just amazing. That's the relationship came after the books, basically.
So trilogy of horses, yeah, is that what it's called?
The Horses Know.
Oh, the Horses Know.
Know.
The Horses Know, yeah.
And it's a trilogy, yeah? There's
It's a
3
trilogy,
books.
and she goes out and makes spin-offs of. So she has an amazing amount of books about but it's just the trilogy, and then if you want to read, there are more books about it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Wow.
But it's about
maybe you're
horses and their spiritual. Yeah.
Mm.
And where does she come from?
From England.
Is she English girl?
Yeah.
Mm. Okay.
Very good.
We'll see if we can get her to come on.
As Pauline is well known for saying, is there any questions or question we haven't asked you that you need to ask or that we should have asked? Is there something that's been on your chest that you haven't been able to get off your chest before?
No, I'm really happy with the conversation that we've had. And yes, I could talk on and on and on about animals and my encounters and how incredibly, I mean, I've seen, narwhal, I've swam with orca, I've so many things that I could tell you. But, as time is basically short, I'll just have to leave it at this.
Okay. In dreaming the new dream, what would you dream of for the animals of the world in the future?
That they have their habitats back and they're treated with the respect that they deserve, and that we live beside animals and not think that we're above them or they're below us. And yeah, that would be my absolute, that's why I actually also write my books. So to hope to inspire people to see animals differently.
Beautiful, beautiful. What a fabulous sentiment to finish on. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an incredible conversation. I've loved every minute of it. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, stay with us. So we're going to do the end of the stream, but we're going to do our little song that goes with it.
Yep.
We are dreaming the new dream, transforming reality and bringing into creation the world we want to see. People are dreaming the new dream, following their heart's desire, being the change they want.